welcome back. I'm Kirsten from JK Fiber Arts. Today we are going to do the first part of the fractal bat spinning, which I learned at the workshop at Maryland Sheep and Wool with Henry and Roy Clemmis. They are the designers of this drum carder that I'm using that I love. Fractal spinning and making a fractal bat. So the easiest way to start is with the 2-ply. And I just picked two pretty different colors here. This is a natural merino and this is hazelnut merino. And the plan here is to do something called a progressive fractal spin. And I'm going to make the bat so that you will spin it in a fractal. This is going to be a 2-ply. So what I'm going to do is divide my fiber in half. And I already measured this. These are 52 grams each. I was shooting for 100, but I went a little over, so we just went with 52. So each of these is going to be 26 grams of each color. So you're going to have a total of 4 nests. So basically, when you spin a fractal, if you've seen my other video, I have one really detailed video on fractal spinning. So what you do is you pick 2 colors. So you are going to have the first one, when you divide this in half, is going to have really long repeats. And you will see the magic of the short repeats. So you're going to have this in half, this in half. So I will take half and half, and I'm going to put that on the drum carder in a special way, and I will show you that. And then the second half, I'm going to make into rollags, which is going to give you the really short repeats because the rollags are going to be smaller and the length of repeat will be less. And you'll understand it when you see it. It's at first you're thinking, I can't wrap my brain around it, but you will get it, and you'll have the moment where you'll be like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. So let me get this to 26. All right, and here's 26. So this will be 1 pass, and then this one I will have left over. And that's 52, and this will be my second pass. And I'll go ahead and get this going on the drum carder, and you'll see how it works out. All right, we are gonna get ready to do this. So I have my first half, and what I am doing is, and this is the magic part, you wanna work 3/4 of the way across the drum with this color. And then when we do the other color, you're gonna work 3/4 with the brown to here. And I will show you what that's like. And what I'm gonna do is just floof all this up here. And this is gonna give you a semi-worsted prep, which is nice because it will still have properties that are, it'll be a little more durable than a full woolen prep because this is top and I'm putting it in aligned. So I'm gonna put this in about 3/4 of the way across my drum here. The only downside to this is it's hard for me to see because it's white and I can't tell on the carding cloth if I have any gaps anywhere. But I'm just going to continue to add this on. And I'm not going to do it all at once 3/4 of the way across. I'm going to start working the brown in here as well so that it sort of blends together a little bit. A little bit more across here, that last little quarter. Over 3/4. And this is where that progression is going to play through. So when you have something like this, it's going to give you a yarn with a subtle background stripe when it's knit up. So now, and remember this, pay attention, you want to make sure you do it the same way every time. So I'm going to put the brown on from the right side coming to the left. And again, nice and thin. You don't want it too full. Whoops. Oh, or maybe I am because I let it get on there. That's all right. All right, we're going to put the brown on. Now, the other thing to realize is that you're going to end up putting a little bit more of the solid color on the ends because you're going to overlap in the middle, so that's going to start to get a little fuller. So I'm going to take some of this natural and just kind of keep it over here on this quarter that's not going to have any brown touching it. And I'm going to work my way across again with this brown. Since I didn't really get over here because it sucked it on out of my hand. I let it get too close to the liquor and it sucked it on pretty fast. I'm going to put this on here. And what I will do too as I go along is I'll stop and look and make sure that I'm trying to get this evenly across. And I can see with the brown, it's a lot easier for me to see my missed spots, so I can see there's some white there. So I'm just gonna let this all run on there. Fill in some of this. And again, a tiny bit of focus is required so that you don't accidentally go the whole way across, which would not be hard to do if you got on autopilot. I'm going to stop this and take a look here over my liquor in and see. So I can see that I'm a little thicker here. I'm pretty thin here, so we got to add some more. And this is a little better than this. This is pretty thin on the edge. So I have all the things I need to add to this. So I'm going to do just a little bit of brown here. A little bit of brown, and then I'm going to come over that with the white. And I'm going to do a little bit of brown here. And then we're going to switch back to the white. And again, I'm just kind of taking a little look here. And I definitely want some more white on this side over here. And then we're going to work across again with our white across the center. About 3/4 of the way across. So around this neighborhood here. And this is going to give us a nice blend when we're spinning this in the center. You can start to see that blending in the middle. And you can see that every time I layer it up, the center part of it is a little more blended, and I love that. And then I will show you at the end the spun yarn that I did at the workshop, and you'll be able to really appreciate how this is going to turn out. Now, I don't have anything knit up with it, but I know what it looks like knit up. I had some samples there. So it's going to give you like a very subtle color that runs through the background, and then it's going to be like a gradient stripe. Very smooth, very subtle. All right, and that is the first part of this bat. The first half of this fractal bat spin for 2-ply is going to be the long repeats. So in order to have the long repeats, we are going to diz this fiber from the drum carder and make it into roving. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a little bit here. Maybe a little bit more than that. There we go. That should do it. And I'm going to use this diz. And this is a diz that I actually came with my drum carder that I never used because I was like, I know what I like and it's not this, but I never tried it. And at the workshop, I tried it and it's actually really awesome. I was very impressed with how well it worked. So it's very similar to the convex diz that I like to use. And it has here this little funnel. So when I hold it on the pins and draft, it funnels the fiber into the little pinhole. So I'm starting with about 1/4 inch of this roving, and hopefully that's not going to be too thick. And I just need to thread this through. And through we go. And I know you've have also seen me do this before, but what I do is I'm going to keep my hand on the diz, and I'm just going to draft and pull. And this one works so very well. I really did not understand how amazing this was going to be. I was always like, that hole looks too small, but it works very well. It gives you a very nice, slightly thicker than a pencil roving. The other nice thing is they have a whole bunch of sizes, so you can get bigger ones if you don't like the size. And just remember, as we come around here, we want to try to move over, and I may have not gotten over soon enough. Let's see if I did. If I made it. Oh, I think I did. Okay, good. In the transition zone there, you need to plan ahead a little bit for moving your diz over. I'm trying to get as much of this fiber off as I can. Sometimes you can pick it up when you go back around the next time. But you can see here, this was the all solid brown. And now we're getting into the blended color here. And it is doing a good job of catching the stuff that I missed. It's pulling it all in, so I love that. And now we're coming here, and I may have... So the other thing is, so now you see here, I can't get it through. And if you noticed, I didn't get over quite fast enough, and I aggressively moved over. So in order to fix that, I'm just going to rotate my drum back a little bit here, and I'm going to pull this back through a little bit. And I should be able to get this through now. There we go. And I just, basically, I just drafted a little bit more so I could get it through the hole. The only downside to having the double wide drum carder in this instance is it takes a long time to do this. My hand will be tired by the time I'm done. The other thing that I'm doing is I'm trying to keep mostly, oh shoot, see, I was talking and I didn't move over. So let's see how well this does. What you want to try to do is get about 50% into the new stuff, and I think I'll be okay here. So we'll see. Yeah, I made it. Good. And if you break it, don't worry. You can still spin it just fine. But what I was saying was I'm trying to stay actually a little bit higher on the drum here, not way down here and not way up here, because I don't want what I'm drafting to get caught on these pins and mess up my otherwise beautiful roving. All right, I have to take a hand breather here, so I will join you back here in just a minute whenever I get to the end of this. And here I am, getting up into the almost all white. And here we are at the end. I don't know if I can get around a little bit more. It starts to get pretty thin here, but see if I can get a little bit more through here. Just going to be tiny. I want to get all of the white that I can, though. Good to the last drop. And I'm still going. There we go. I'm going to let that go. All right. So I'm going to wind this up and show you what we have. Here I have the roving, and you can see at this end is all white, and then as we get back in here to the middle, it's brown. And the important thing to remember is when you're doing this is to spin from the same end. So, well, this is only a 2-ply. It matters more in the 3-ply. But I am going to start spinning from the white end, and then we'll do the roll lags the same way, starting from the white end. So the first half we took off as roving, and that's our long repeat. And now we are doing the second half, and I just loaded the carder the exact same way as we did for the first one. And now we're going to take these off as roll lags. What I'm going to do is, and this is another thing that I learned, because I always just use both my dowels, which came with my blending board, which is wonderful, and I really, really like them. However, I learned a new technique. At this workshop as well, where you use the little metal dowel. And this is a 1/8 inch metal dowel. I got this at Home Depot. My husband actually got it for me, and then he cut it to match the length of my dowels here. And what you do, and then I'll explain as we go along, is you're gonna slide this up and I'm gonna roll like this to get it started. And then we're gonna slide the dowel out. And we're gonna roll this on this one. And you're gonna pull, and I'm gonna draft and keep winding. And I'm drafting. And I have that block on here to keep my drum from rolling so I can draft off of this. And right when you think you have about the right amount, you can let it just peel off. And then I'm just going to gently smooth this with my hand. And what I learned at the workshop is that the roll lag has only one hole in the middle. So when I use the two dowels, you get a figure of 8 shape in here, and even though it's light and airy and you can see inside of it, you still have some twisting of the fibers in there that can make it draw a little unevenly. So this gives you a smoother roll lag to spin from. And I was really excited to learn that. So here is my roll lag, and I'm just gonna roll this up. And I'm shooting to get about 5 or 6 or 7, maybe 7 of these. I'm usually looking for one that's around, 8, 9 grams. This one's probably a little hefty. Yeah, that's a biggie, that's 12. So my first one, always a little big. But now we are on it. 2 things to remember when you're doing roll lags is 1, pack the drum evenly so you don't have any gaps in here. And the other is don't use a brush that's gonna really pack it in. Just use your packer brush. Don't use the burnishing brush that really puts it down in there. So now I'm just gonna draft on this a little bit. And I need a little bit here through the center. There we go. And I'm just gonna wind, wind, wind. I'm gonna slide this dowel out because we should be engaged around my dowel now. And I'm going to draft and roll. I'm trying to keep this all nice and smooth here. Like I said, it's a little bit hard doing it the full length of this double wide drum carder. So I would, if you have a double wide, and I think the next time I do this technique, what I would recommend doing is doing this with just a lower amount, same fiber, just not going so wide. I actually stopped a little bit before the edges here. You can see I kind of stopped here and here, but I probably should have stopped a little bit sooner. And then you can wind your hand around like this. And we'll pull this out. Just smooth a little bit here. And again, we have a beautiful, light, airy roll lag, and you can look right down the center of that hole. Looks fantastic. And as you see, as you go along, they get better and better looking. That is just how I roll. I don't think it matters whether the metal rod is on the outside or the inside when you roll. Wind, wind, wind. And I'm just going to smooth this around and smooth this around with my hand. And you can still use the drum quarter too. The liquor in can smooth it as well. This is a beefy one too. Looks nice though. This one's super duper fine. So I'm going to just use my liquor in for that and slide this dowel out at the end. because I don't really have anything to get a good grip on it, but you can see that this thing is so light and airy, it's so fine. It probably weighs like 2 grams, but I didn't waste a bit. So this should all end up spinning up beautifully. And my little tiny BB one. Here we have our 2 singles ready to spin. This is the Rollags that are, oh my gosh, they are so soft and light. And here we have our roving, and this is going to make a gorgeous spin. And I will show you that yarn after it's finished. I'll take this over to the wheel and then I'll show you the final yarn when it's done. I have the dizzed off roving here, and the Rollags. I think I want to spin the Rollags first. So the first half, the first single is going to be the Rollag. I'm just going to go through this super quick. These should spin like a dream. They're very soft and light and airy. Important thing to remember is what end you're starting with. I'm just going to start with the white end because it's here in my hand. Sometimes one end will spin easier than the other end. If I had to say that, I would say that this feels a little looser. So I'm going to start with the white anyways. And again, I haven't used my regular whirl in a while. And this is merino, so it does require more twist. So I am going to have this with the smaller of the medium whirls. I'm actually going to add a little bit more tension to this. I think I have a little too much twist. Let's look, because if you look here, see how this is kinking up? So this is not something that I typically have a problem with, but I haven't spun on my regular bobbin in a while. My regular flyer, I mean, in a while. So if I do this, look at all this extra kinky stuff in here. That is not what you want to see when you have your single. So if you look at this, I have a little pigtail right there. So this is over spun. The good news is that when you have a Rollag, I can just do this and hold this like that, and the Rollag will unspin, and that'll take that twist out. All that extra twist will be gone. You cannot do that when you have when you're spinning like a regular top. It doesn't work that way. You've got to be able to get to the end of the fiber. So now if I do this, it should be a lot better. So now you can see it looks nice. There's back to having a little loop at the end here. There's no pigtails, and it has a lovely ply angle. 20. Thinnest part is a 22. So I'm somewhere between that 20-22, which is what I wanted. Is when you look at the bobbin here, we're just starting to get in. So it's white, and now it's going to blend. Each Rollag is going to have this, the white, the kind of white-brown blend in the middle, and then it'll be a solid brown color. And I'm going to keep doing that with the Rollags, and all the Rollags should have a similar color distribution. And this is going to give you multiple short repeats. So this is going to be the short repeat portion of the fractal spin. And then the long repeats are going to be that dizzed roving that have very long sections of white, brown, and blended. Right there it is. There's our ply back test. Looking good. And I need to get another pass to cover up that pigtail because that is not favorite right there. Can't have that pigtail looking at me the whole time I'm spinning. It makes me unhappy. And we don't want to spin unhappy. We want to spin happy. Here we have our finished bobbin, and you can see the short repeats from the Rollags. We've got a little bit of the dark brown here, solid white here, and the subtle blend as it goes through. You can kind of see it go from the darker brown to which is slightly more white, more white, more white, more white. And that pattern just keeps repeating over and over again throughout this bobbin. If you remember, here's our roving. And I'm going to start with the white end like we talked about earlier. Try to remember. And you can see here, this is going to be a much longer repeat. Here's the white, and then it just starts getting into the brown there. And then it's going to get darker and darker, you'll see as we come along. And this is only going to have the 2 colors, so it's going to be a lot of white. And then in the middle, there'll be the brown and white blending, and then at the end, it'll be all brown. And we're gonna try to keep this at the same. WPI is the first single, somewhere around that 2022 mark. And we are spinning in the Z direction. She says as she sneakily does a short backwards draw there. Did you see that? Oh, that looks lovely. I have 5 glorious days off for Memorial Day weekend. I'm really excited. I'm gonna try to do, I probably have too many things to do, but I would like to at least scour a couple of fleeces, and I wanna do a whole bunch of dyed top. I have all these ideas, and I have this top that's ready to go. I have everything weighed out, just ready, and I just have been so busy lately. I haven't got to it. And I really want to get the top up on my shop. All right, so this is pretty unexciting spinning white, and I'm going to be doing this for a while. So I will get back with you guys once this is all spun, and we'll be ready to show you the final yarn, the progressive 2-ply fractal drum carded Batt. Here is the final yarn, and you can see this lovely progression through here. I'm gonna let it run down because one side is white and the other side is brown. Doesn't that look cool? It progresses from here where there's just a couple of strands of the solid brown, and then it'll progress through, and also it'll be blending all the time for the brown and white, and then at some point through here it becomes more white than brown, and that keeps working its way through, and then you're getting to the all white, which again just has a couple of yards of that on each side. If I just have to find where it is, here it is. And then here you're gonna have, I think we have the same 2 threads on this side that are all white. And it looks really cool. This is a lovely worsted weight yarn. So 2-ply progressive fractal Batt. So much fun to spin and so much fun to set up. I will see you guys next week. We're gonna do the 3-ply progressive fractal Batt, and I'm gonna spice it up a little bit with some silk sari in there. I'm looking forward to it. If you want to start stocking up for the Tour de Fleece, which starts June 29th this year and goes for 3 weeks during the Tour de France, I am going to be doing some custom dyed top over the next week or so, and I will have that up at my shop hopefully in the next 2 weeks. I'll see you next time. Until then, spin happy.